Welcome everybody to this week's video. This is very, very different to my normal videos that I do, because actually what I'm going to talk to you about this week is something that happened to me last year. And I didn't divulge anything during what was happening because it wasn't the right thing to do, but it's now gone, it's finished. And I want people to know, because if somebody had told me the story, I wouldn't have believed the bullying and harassment that the police constabularies did to me, against me, last year, all in regard to a potential prosecution for speeding. And I want to go through the story. I want to tell you, because actually, as a result of what happened last year, I think there's a loophole in the speeding and the intention of prosecution from police constabularies. And I want to tell you, people should be aware of this loophole. And people should be aware of the lengths that police constabularies are going to bully individuals into accepting speeding fines. And this is the story. This is what happened. Welcome. It's Rich here for this week's Fast and Fun video. So it's about this time last year. We received through the post a letter from the police constabulary saying that it was basically a notice of intended prosecution. It was addressed to myself because I was the registered vehicle of the car. And actually, it was a little bit light humour between Ali, my partner, and myself in the early stages, because we've both got clean licences. The speed wasn't excessive, so there'll probably be speed awareness course. May have been 3 points and a fine. But we were, obviously, first reaction is a bit disappointed, but then it's who's done it, who's been caught speeding. So what we did is we checked our diaries, and we both confirmed we were in the office with work, and we'd both travelled in the same car to make that journey. And I think it's important as background to this is that I and myself, the journey we do is about an hour each way. So it's quite a long commute. And if we're ever in the office at the same time, we will obviously always share cars. And the other important factor is that Ali enjoys driving as much as I do. And to break up the journeys, we regularly have Ali drive there, I drive back, vice versa, even stop halfway if we get fuel or stop at the supermarket. We switch drivers all the time. So having laughed and giggled, but we're both in the office, it's like, well, who was driving in that morning? And we didn't know. And there was no way of us identifying it. So we sent an email back, actually, to the police and saying, look, yep, it's our car. We admit that we've been caught speeding. You've said, is there photographic evidence? I said, yes, please, because I just need to establish whether it's a man or woman in the driver's seat. So we got a response back with a photograph of the registration plate, and in really bold letters from the police constabulary saying that it is up to me as a registered keeper to identify who the driver of the car was at that time of the offence. That didn't really help, and this was now, the offence was weeks ago, and because we regularly travel together and we mixed the driving, we can't recall. So I explained, I said, look, I get there's a law that says the registered keeper must know who's driving the car at any given time. And I said, that's fine on the day or the following day or even a few days after or even a week or so maybe. But to go back weeks and weeks and weeks on a Wednesday morning at 7:20 when we know we're both in the car and we're regularly changing drivers all the time, we don't know. But it was really important that we did admit to the offence, and we never said otherwise. And then, as soon as we responded, police constabulary came back almost immediately. But this time it was in a formal letter And some of the wording used, I need to quote some of this wording. It was, I would strongly advise you recheck your diaries on phone records to establish who was driving. And there was saying there is a ability for you to go to court, to the magistrates and argue a case, but it's a very, very high benchmark for you to argue against. So, and I think the other thing is, I am, like most of us, law-abiding citizen. But anybody can get caught for speeding. And I said, look, I admit that. I said, but is there anything that the police can do just to help me assess who was there? I said, because this is now, and it was probably 5 or 6 weeks later now, and we just can't, with 100% assurance, tell you which one of the two of us was driving. And what happened then, it just, every time we responded, and we sort of played a few days and then we responded, and immediately another one, and the terms of the letters getting sent back were becoming stronger and stronger. They then advised that one of the letters came back and said that should you not provide the driver's details, you can be fined up to £1,000 and 6 penalty points. And this actually really, really got my back up. And suddenly then it became not about the speeding. I was then generally getting pissed off with the tone of the police constabulary. How they were just changing their tone as the days turned into weeks. And I said, look, what can you do? Can you look at some CCTV, ANPR, stuff that I'm not aware of as a normal civilian? There's got to be something to say, is it a bloke or is it a woman driving the car? No, nothing. Nothing at all. But you need to tell us who was driving that car, otherwise we're taking you to court. And you're going to get fined £1,000 or 6 penalty points. The easy thing to do at that time, without any shadow of a doubt, was for me to fill out the official form and sign to say either Ali or myself was driving. And you know what? It'd have probably been a £90 speed awareness course. You wouldn't believe how long these letters continued for. Weeks and weeks. And the terms just became stronger and stronger. Really, really strong bullying tactics, really. And it was all behind putting pressure on me to falsely sign a legal document and put either Ali's or my name on there, and then the speeding charge would have been applied to that individual. That's for sure would have been the easiest thing to do. But again, I go back to a law-abiding citizen. I've got this legal form here that says you shall, as the vehicle owner, tell us who was driving. There's no, I think they were driving. It's who was driving. And hand on heart, genuinely, I do not know. And if the law states me as a vehicle registered owner needs to know who's driving, over what period of time? Today I know who's driving all the cars. And yesterday I do. And the day before I do. But 3.5 weeks ago on a Wednesday morning, when we're both using the same car, or different cars at times, going to and from work or supermarket, sometimes I'm not sure. How far back is a reasonable amount of time? So I sent my final email after probably 2 months of being bullied, being harassed, being, I think, police threatening for me to falsely sign a legal document for somebody's name on there when I know not to be 100% true. And I think that is wrong. Full stop. In fact, that to me is, you're putting pressure on me to commit perjury, to sign a legal form that you know, I'm telling you, I'm not 100% sure. In fact, in this case, it's a 50-50. I'm not even, I think it was me or I think it was Ali. We generally do not know. So it's not even 90% sure. It's a 50-50. I'm telling you, I don't know. So that was it. So I put a final email back, and the approach I took was, I've always accepted that both Ali and myself was in the car at the time. We both accept we broke the speed limit. We just can't identify who. We've asked the police to help where possible, and they've provided no help at all, other than to clearly state it is up to the registered keeper of the vehicle to identify who the driver was. And I'm happy to go in front of a magistrate and say, yesterday I knew, the day before I did, but 3, 4, 5 weeks ago, I just generally do not know. We requested police assistance, whether anything they could have just looked quickly on CCTV, just a camera shot, just to see man or woman, we'd have been able to identify it. No help at all, other than bullying and harassment from them. My defence was I would not sign a legal document when I do not know with 100% certainty that is correct. And there's no, you think it is who was the driver, and I'm saying I don't know, so I couldn't sign it. So I put back various options, and I said to them, look, do you know what? This is about principle. This is about me not falsely signing a legal document. So charge both Ali and myself with the same conviction. Give us both a speed awareness course. Give us both 3 points and standard fine. And you'll double your money. That's option 1. Option 2 is, you pick. Just put it on me and I'll accept it. I've got no issues with that. Or put it on Ali. Ali will accept it. With no issue with that, you'll get your money. And you'll get the 3 points on one of our licences, and you pick. And I'm happy to do both or either, but it is up to. But the only thing I'm not willing to do is sign the legal document that says who the driver was. And then the final option was, well, take me to court then, because I want to go in front of the court, and part of me still does today, stand in front of a magistrate, and I'm going to use some of the terminology that you as a police constabulary have been using. The threatening, bullying, harassing me as a law-abiding citizen to falsely, I'm telling you, I don't know, but you're still putting huge pressure on me to falsely sign a legal document. That's wrong. And the loophole with this incident, it's about they have to have a name. For a prosecution for speed, they have to have the driver's details. And I'm not saying anybody goes against the law and says, I don't know who was driving, not at all. But what this video is about is saying, if you and your wife or your husband or your boyfriend or your girlfriend or your sister or whatever, you are somebody else that's legal to drive your car and you are both in the car and you genuinely do not know at the time of the offence who was speeding, say that. Just say it, I don't know. And be brave, because you're going to get inundated with threatening, bullying emails from the police constabulary, like I was subject to. And my advice is stand firm. Stand to what you believe. Do not sign a legal document that you know may not be correct, because otherwise you're being bullied and harassed into signing, into committing a term called perjury. And that is wrong. And that's what this video is all about. It's about standing up for what is right and what is wrong. And I'm certainly not condoning speeding, but let's be fair. I think every one of us at times does speed. We know that. And the chances are, at some point in time, you will get picked up for speeding. We all do. So there we go. Stand up for what you believe. Be willing to take it the full length. And try to help. Don't deny it, accept there was an offence. But if you generally do not know who the driver was, tell them that. Stand by your guns, because they can't convict you if they don't know who to convict. And the only charge they've got is you not providing the driver's details as if you're the registered keeper of the vehicle on the V5. But if you stand your guns, and if you've got evidence, which I did, I've got evidence that we were both in that car because we were both travelling to work. Hold your guns, because I don't think you'll get a conviction. There you go. Something a bit different. I hope you enjoyed that little story for myself, but there's a real intent about that. Stand up to what you believe and don't be pressured. There we go. Back to normal car stuff next week, I hope. Hope you enjoyed it. Any comments, any thoughts, any similar experiences that any of you have suffered, please drop them below. Get in touch. I'm always intrigued to hear and listen and read what others have suffered as well. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed it, please give me a thumbs up. Please comment below, and please subscribe if you haven't already done so. Another video next week. Thanks for watching.